wind up and pitch. That ball's hit well. Back deep to center field. There it is, and there it goes. Home run by Shaquille.
Here's the pitch. Here it goes. There's strike three. That's a complete game for Kinsey Hilzer.
Tyler Carroll, step back three. Wet. He puts it in, and that is the dagger.
And there's another three for Katrina Roenfeld, just like she usually does. The Griffins are on top.
There's the bump, ball's in the air, and Allie Talkin lays down the thunder with that kill.
There's the handoff. Through the hole he goes. A huge stiff arm, and Shamar Griffin scores a touchdown for Missouri Western.
Shoots her shot. Goal!
Brett Howery and Derek Zimmerman-Guyer proudly present to you the Western Windup.
We ready. We ready. All right, we ready.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All for y'all.
Yeah, that's the word to that one. Yeah, there we go. We are ready. Are you ready?
The Western Windup is ready. Brett Howery and Derek Zimmerman-Guyer are ready for Thursday, and we hope you are too, because it is opening week, but better yet, it's rivalry week. Let's do it.
We've seen some rivalries as us being a Midwestern folk who grew up here in Missouri. If you're on the age of 21, about 20,
if you're
to
of Gen Z or
23,
millennial.
yeah, you remember a lot of rivalries here in Missouri. Got Kansas versus Missouri, obviously in the college world. We have the Royals and the Cardinals. The the I-95.
Oh, I-70.
I-70.
Whoa.
I don't know what I'm thinking.
It's okay.
I don't drive a lot. And we, obviously, it's not as much of a rivalry, but just a game we always like to see was the Kansas City Chiefs and the St. Louis Rams.
Oh, yeah. I like watching the Chiefs, pistol whip them for sure.
Yeah, that was always fun.
Except for that Monday Night Football game. That was great, but they're in L.A. now, so it's kind of dead.
But speaking of iconic rivalries, you cannot speak of the iconic rivalries in Missouri history without talking about Missouri Western versus Northwest. Obviously, Northwest has been hitting their peak these last couple of years. Well, Missouri Western, we've started to play
back on the hill, back rising on the hill. So I think it all goes back to that 2012 season, outright MIAA champs for Missouri Western. And then soon after, Northwest, like you said, they caught their win, they caught their peak. They had their national championship runs those few seasons, and then all those undefeated seasons. And since then, they've been like a mainstay in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they haven't been like they were in the past. Meanwhile, Missouri Western regressed after those seasons, eventually fell to a losing record in 2015, 2016, 2017. Back-to-back 4-7 seasons. It was the dog days pretty much. But
yeah,
this last year in 2018, the Griffins seem to be back. 7-5 record, bowl win. Coach Williamson, now in his third year. I think it's time for Missouri Western to get back on the saddle.
And I think you can look at the Missouri Western team. You can see that the strides that they've made as a team, as an organization, with Josh Looney coming in. Obviously, Josh Looney's getting some great things for this athletic program. Williamson has been a step above what we needed at the helm of the football program. But one thing you also have to remember, they were 6-5 before the bowl game.
Right.
They were right above 500. They lost some games that they shouldn't have last year.
Like the very last one against Lindenwood.
The very last one. They should not have lost that game against Lindenwood on paper, but... So there's reason to be optimistic about this team, but there's also reason to be cautious.
Yes, of course. In any situation, you don't want to get too optimistic, too giddy, and be too subjective in your opinion. But there is a game that we should look at, and of course, it's the Northwest game from last season and the season opener at Maryville. And this game, you can look at the stats and just be like, "Wow, Northwest kind of handled the Griffins in this game," but not really if you just break it down. And that's what we're going to do here real quick to kind of give you a preview on what we can expect, because players are going to be different. Obviously, people have graduated, people have gone on to the NFL, people are doing great things for both teams, but it still stays the same. Missouri Western was in that game last year. You got something?
Now, why are we talking about this game, Derek? Why are we focusing specifically on this game?
Well, it is rivalry week, like we said, on Thursday, but it's going to be at our house at Missouri Western.
Mm-hmm. And didn't we had a Twitter poll in which our adoring fans
thank you, yes,
very much in support of us doing a football preview of our what, 4 options?
4 options was
every single pick.
4 options was football. It was volleyball preview and soccer preview, and then player nicknames.
Yeah.
And we got some player nicknames, of course.
We'll talk about them.
We got a rap too if you want to stay for the whole episode.
But I want to hear more about this game last year. I want to
Of course. Let's get this. Let's get right to it. So Missouri Western got the ball to start off this game. First drive, it started actually pretty well. The Griffins got down to the 50-yard line, and then there was this personal foul that just kind of like shot him in the foot. And just the fact that they moved the ball so well down the field on their opening drive, guys like Dom Marino, James Bailey Jr., and Shamar Griffith doing what they do. And Dom Marino last year did well passing early on in the game. He's completing passes over the middle to his guys like Elijah Cunningham at the time and Mack. And then the first defensive series after the Griffins punted, even though they got to the 50-yard line and they shot themselves in the foot, their first defensive series, they got a 3-and-out. And Josh Caldwell, former Griffin, who went to Northwest and is now in the NFL, a free agent, they stuffed him twice on his first 2 runs of Northwest's first offensive possession. Yeah. That's huge. Yeah. A former player like that, big rivalry, and you stuff a former player like that and just you get the momentum on defense, force that 3-and-out. But on the very next drive, Missouri Western gets down to inside the Northwest 20, and they miss a field goal. They miss an opportunity to score points. Yep. And, of course, you got to score every point you can.
And we all know, we saw Tyler Bash's play in the bowl game. We obviously
MVP.
know how good of a kicker he is. So that was kind of weird. In hindsight, that was a weird miss for him. But, yeah, you got to score every time you can.
And what does Northwest do after Missouri Western squanders an opportunity? They followed that with a 52-yard touchdown pass by Braden Wright. Bang! Freshman quarterback gets it done just like that. Just like that through the passing game. And it's like Missouri Western does so well on their defensive series, but when you give up, it's pretty simple. It's pretty cut and dry. When you give up big plays, big game-changing plays, it totally switches the momentum.
Yeah, we know that as Chiefs fans.
Oh my gosh! Don't even get me started. That just had flashbacks to that Monday Night Football game against the Rams. Yeah. But anyway, it was another promising drive to the Northwest 19, again from Missouri Western early on in that first half. Holding penalty, another penalty once again, halts the drive. Luckily this time, Missouri Western gets the field goal. Yeah. So it's 7-3 now at this point. What does Northwest do?
Well, Derek will tell you exactly what they do. They threw a 60-yard touchdown pass, one-upping his last throw from the previous drive. The freshman came in first quarter, 2 big plays, 2 big touchdown passes.
Braden Wright, we need to talk about him for a second. He is good.
He is.
A freshman quarterback, now a sophomore. He threw 24 touchdowns and 7 picks last year. Yeah. For a team that had a running back by committee, running back core of Josh Caldwell and Strayhorn, and Strayhorn's gonna be back this year as a senior. It's gonna be something that Missouri Western still needs to look out for. That they have a balanced game, a balanced offense. And like we said, they come right back and they hit Missouri Western with another big play in a short drive. And Missouri Western does the last thing they need to do in the ensuing possession. Down 14-3, they fumble. Shamar Griffith fumbles.
And so if we look at these first 3 drives, we see a missed field goal, which isn't normal. We see a holding call on an offensive line, which we have one of the best offensive lines in the MIAA.
Oh, very much so. You look at our running yards, you look at Missouri Western's running stats from the last couple of years, all the way back to 2015. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and we're a running team, so you figure that coaches are always barreling into kids' heads not to fumble, because that's what you do as a running team. You spend a lot of your time making sure your people don't fumble because of how much you run, and they just, for 3 drives in a row, to be uncharacteristically failed on the things that Missouri Western's good at. It was a weird way to start the game.
They're very good at it. Like last year, Missouri Western was ranked 3rd as a rushing offense in the MIAA with 219.5 yards per game. So we know they can do it on the ground. But what I think, we talked about last year's game enough, and we know where it went wrong, big plays, and just shooting Missouri Western in the foot. Now, establish that run game, because you remember my hot take from last Tuesday, right? Yeah. Wyatt Starkewell needs to go off, and I think he will, because I talked about his time, his limited playing time last year and his junior year against Northeastern State, and who wasn't the greatest football team, we'll just admit it, last season, but they were the 7th ranked passing defense. Northwest was 5th. So there's some correlation there. I think he can put it together against them, but running game, Shamar Griffith, we know he can do it. We've seen him do it. We've got some new running backs in this game now, in this season. We got guys like Deron Thompson. We got freshmen like Jonas Bennett, who we might see. Who knows? We got a lot of running backs on that main roster right now. And like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout. And Wright, like I said, he's not going to turn over the ball.
Yeah.
7 picks last year. So it's really the most cut and dry thing you need to do in a football game.
Yeah.
Establish a run game, open it up in the passing game.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we've always had a running quarterback these last couple of years. So we've kind of like, hey, we know we can run off him, so let's rely on it a little bit too much maybe, and the defense just kind of figures it out.
And one thing I have to worry about with Wright is obviously he had a good season last year for Northwest, but no one talked about it. No one cared because Northwest had an amazing defense, and no matter what happened, they always were the defensive team. But, like, if you're doing that good and you're still being overshadowed by your defense, like, you know that that's a pretty good defense. And people aren't going to be focused on that. They're going to be focusing on, can we score against this defense that Northwest has? It doesn't matter if Wright is just tearing us apart.
Well, Northwest was the second-ranked defense last year in MIAA, and they were ranked second in sacks. They had 13 sacks in 36 games. Or 36 sacks in 13 games. Read that the wrong way. Dyslexia. Isn't that just a pain in the butt? But we know that Northwest can get to the quarterback. But the thing is, they didn't sack Marino all game long last season. And that's due to his ability to run around and scramble in the pocket and just take off like a West Coast style quarterback. Yeah. Now the difference is Wyatt Steigerwald is a pocket passer, in my opinion, and that's what he looks like he's best at doing. So pretty much the key is don't let Wyatt get hit.
Yeah, and even though they didn't get any sacks last year, they still had 6 quarterback hits. So like even if he was still getting out of the pocket and able to get the ball out of his hands, he was still getting hit a lot. So you have to worry about if our offensive line isn't holding them good, then what's going to happen to Wyatt back there in the pocket.
So pretty much the keys to this game, offensively and defensively, Shamar Griffith and company need to open up the offense for good old Stagger and Steigerwald, or Style and Steigerwald.
Staggering or Styling. You can let us know, tweet us at the Western Windup if you think it should be Staggering or Styling. Steigerwald.
I love Styling. That sounds awesome.
Staggering.
Okay. Well, you're staggering all over this.
Wow, that's mean.
But Shamar and company need to open up the offense. Now, meanwhile, on the defense, we are looking at returning senior linebacker Anthony Williams, and he's a returning leading tackler on this team.
Yep.
All-conference or honorable mention selection last year. He's going to be anchoring this defense, and he just needs to lead that front against Wright and company.
Yeah. And, well, I have to agree with you. I think Wyatt Steigerwald on that offense is going to have to set the tone for what they're going to be this year. And I think there's no better way to do it than in this game against Northwest.
I think if you just open up the game with a big passing play by Steigerwald and, kind of catch Northwest on their heels right off the bat, I think they can really do it.
Well, we're going to switch the ball over here.
Switch to the hardcore.
Go over to volleyball here. They're opening against Southwest Baptist. Last year we swept them twice.
Yep, that's right. We swept them twice last year. 3-0 one game, 3-0 the next. So, and the thing is, I was gonna say it. Totally expect them to beat them this year in the opening game. This Thursday. Southwest Baptist was 0-18 last season. 0-18. Yeah. And you know what's even, I was gonna say funnier. I'm not laughing at the misfortunes of other teams.
Yes.
But on Friday, the Griffins, the ladies go out and on the same tournament, East Central. Next game at 11:30, they face them. They're 0-28. 0-28. 0-18, 0-28 to start off your first 2 matches of the season. That's, ooh, boy.
But wait, the team they play next is
Western Colorado U?
A pretty, that's a pretty good upgrade over the last 2 teams. Like the last 2 went 0-18.
Do tell how.
Central went 0-28. Western Colorado went 2-24.
Oh, here.
That's an upgrade. They're going to be playing them at 4:30. Then they go on to Midwestern State, University of Texas on Saturday. Literally, there is not a lot of teams that I think get this easy of a start of a season. And it's nothing against these other teams, but that's just how the cards fall sometimes. And the cards seem to have fallen in the Griffins' favor for at least for volleyball this year.
That is one of the biggest cakewalks I've ever seen, and we saw that volleyball started off last season 4-0 as well, and we know they had the 15-17 season last year. After their MIAA championship season year prior in 2017. But what a way to start the season! I mean, 2 teams that went winless. Yeah. I mean, can you ask for anything easier, Brett?
No, and I think a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to see, hey, like volleyball is going to get these 4 games to be able to practice and really get that teamwork together before they get into some harder competition. But you also have to worry about, are they going to get complacent? That's 4 easy games. Imagine you're the Chiefs and you're facing the Dolphins, you're facing the Bills, the Bengals, right? And then you have to go up against the Patriots the week right after that. Like you look at those games and you kind of get into a rhythm of, all right, this is going really well, and then boom, you're smacked in the face with the freaking New England Patriots, and that's I think that's something you also have to worry about here.
Well, they will start the season in Pittsburgh, Kansas at the Gorilla Classic Tournament, like we said, Southwest Baptist University on Thursday, 7 p.m. Followed up in the morning on Friday against East Central University at 11:30 a.m. Later that day at 4:30, they will face Western Colorado University, and then they will finish off things Saturday morning at 9 a.m. against Midwestern State University of Texas, 5-23 team to finish it off there. And after that, they'll go on to the Jury Invitational, but that is a story for another time. But wow, what a way to open the season! All those amazing teams.
Yeah, but there's one team that is actually starting before them, and that is women's golf. Today and tomorrow, they have a tournament at Blue Springs, Missouri. They're in the Central Region Fall Preview, and obviously we wish them the best of luck and hope that the par falls ever in their favor.
Oh, ooh, you just tickled my funny bone with that pun.
All right, so soccer.
Soccer opens up this Friday and Sunday as well.
There we go.
So everything is getting into full swing here at the Western Windup and at Missouri Western. They'll open up Friday, soccer will, at 6 p.m. against Lindenwood, who they 1-1 against last season. Now this is going to be interesting because this Griffin soccer team has been, good these last couple years, very good, arguably the best team on campus. And they regressed last season. They did 12-7. And there's some of their games they shouldn't have lost, like that one against Lindenwood. Now let's see. Last year's game, first year game against Lindenwood, no one scored a goal until 60+ minutes into the game. Mm-hmm. And what helped Missouri Western is that they scored first because you play for so long. If whoever scores after that amount of time, it's very tricky to get back in the game after that.
And once you get into that defensive formation, that's one thing for soccer. Once you score once, you could just go right into the defense, and it is hard to score against a team that is focusing on a defensive formation. And with the goalkeepers that Missouri Western had, they were a little inexperienced. They had a couple of freshmen back there, but they played their heart out. You saw it every single game. So you could tell once they got that lead into that game, it just felt like a cakewalk at that point.
And I think what's critical is that Missouri Western must score first. 10 of their 12 wins last year, they scored first. And I know, obviously, the goal is score first. Duh, that sounds simple. Why are you saying this? Well, in a game like soccer, if you get put behind even early, it's so hard to, like you said, teams get on the defensive. They get very defensive. Now, 5 of Missouri Western's 7 losses, they didn't score first. So it's kind of cut and dry right there.
Yeah. And you look at it, you obviously know Chad Edwards is barking orders at his team to make sure that they are not giving up the first goal. With the Western Windup here, have a pretty healthy relationship with Chad Edwards. We get to talk to him a lot about what he's talking about with those girls, and I know that's the one thing he talks about. You've got to get the goal first. If you do not score first, it is just 200% harder to win the game. And so we look at it this year, face off against Lindenwood at 6 o'clock. In the nighttime, let's hopefully pack Sprat. Let's get this.
Yeah, let's get back-to-back pack Sprats.
Yeah,
and bring your Walter Cronkite signs because Cronkite section. Am I right?
Yeah.
So who are we looking at in this game coming up against Lindenwood?
Well, obviously, we're looking
at T-Sizzle.
Yes, obviously.
Oh, you admit it, you accept it. Taylor Schwarzkopf, T-Sizzle.
T-Sizzle is obviously the person we are looking. We are also looking at goalkeeper Anna Mayer, freshman starter last year. Obviously, played her heart out. It's only so much you can do as a freshman. You don't have that experience of starting, but I think the experience is really going to help her out, and she's going to play a lot better this year. Ashley Mathis is another player that we really need to watch out for. We lost a good defender last year in Bailey Ketchum. obviously she could change any game with the defense that she played. But Jordan Jennings is coming back. Madison Utley, T. Sizzle. There's Julia Stoloff is also another really good player. We got a lot of returners. We lost a couple people, but we also have a lot of people returning who shined in the minutes that they were given by Chad Edwards. Obviously, he's a guy who likes to start the proven commodities. But he gave minutes to the younger players, and they really shine. So I think we need to look for some of the younger starters on this team.
Well, it is going to be a lot of younger starters. It's very interesting. They have no seniors on this team.
Mm-hmm.
No seniors whatsoever. So it's going to be interesting to see the experience and the leadership kind of come out of this team. I know younger players have a difficult time sometime of being more vocal, and, you know, it might be more of a lead by example, which I personally, I enjoy the most. Leading by example, you show how to do it, people will follow you. If you're doing it correctly, if you're succeeding, people will follow. You don't have to be the loudest talker out there.
You just have to be saying the right thing. And Missouri West Soccer has been saying the right thing. And again, that's why Chad Edwards gave so many minutes to the younger players last year, was because he knew that there were so many seniors leaving. He's got no seniors on this team. Get them that experience while they're there. And I think these next 2 years could be maybe two of the best seasons in Griffin soccer history.
Well, we are near the end, and I promised it. I wanted it, and I'm going to give it. Player nicknames, and I think we'll just rattle them off. Obviously, we got Taylor Schwarzkopf, T. Sizzle. I like Jonas Bennett, Jonas Brother Bennett.
Wow, Brother Bear. Joe Bennett.
Obviously, I think Shamar Griffith has got ShamWow, his Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Do we got anything else for that?
I like ShamWow.
ShamWow's good.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We got either Staggering, Wyatt Steigerwald, or Styling.
Wyatt Steigerwald.
I like Styling. Styling, he just sounds so swaggerish. Just so swaggy.
Staggering Steigerwald.
Swaggy Steigerwald? That doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
No, it really doesn't.
I kind of reached for that one.
What else are you thinking?
Oh, man. Anthony Williams. We got something for him? Tony?
Tony. My boy Tony. We obviously got Willie, head coach.
Coach Willie? Can we call Coach Edwards Coach Eddie?
I usually.
That's a you thing. You got a pretty good relationship with him.
I'll come up with a coach nickname for Coach Edwards. Can we call Looney Loons?
I don't know.
Hey, what's up,
I don't
Loons?
know about that one.
I think we'd be all for it. He'd high five us. Let me tell you.
How about Mackenzie Billings, the Bill?
The Bill. Wow.
Like,
let's move on to a different one, all right? Hey, for Anthony, let's call him the Don.
I like it.
The Don.
Don.
Anthony Williams.
The Don. Obviously, we had...
Because he's the Mafia, because his name's Anthony.
I remember us talking about this the other day. We had Don Marino last year, and I always liked the illegitimate child of Dan Marino.
That's my guy.
But Don Marino would be pretty good, too. But
Dom. Wow,
that sounds like that one movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Well, you said you were going to end off with something, and I protested against it.
Oh, you're going to give it? You're going to let me have this?
I protested so long against this. I don't want it to happen.
I'm so excited.
All right. Well, at this point, we're gonna end the Western Windup. If you stick around for a couple more seconds, you're going to get to hear our very own Derek Zimmerman-Guyer rap what I presume to be a horrible, horrible rap about the Western Windup. But I will not stop him. He wants to do it. He's going to do it. If you liked this podcast, make sure you give us a follow on Twitter.
At Western Windup.
At the Western Windup. Message us, tweet at us, letting us know if you like Staggering or Styling Steigerwald.
We'll put up more polls, see you guys more involved, whatnot. Find us at Thursday's game. I'll be on the sideline working some camera stuff. Brett will be in the stands. You'll be tweeting stuff. You give us a shout out. We love that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And,
so if that's all you want to listen to, then I hope everyone has a great day. But if you want to listen to Derek rap, then stick around here shortly.
Thanks. All right. Drop my needle. It's the Western Windup, not a hold up. We're here to get y'all super hyped up. We're not gonna lose, so don't get the blues. We're nothing like those Northwest fools. Griffin Athletics are back. Every single team is looking super jacked. It's not about us, it's about the student athletes. If you talk too much, don't get into a fuss. Don't sleep on the Griffins, they are for real. We're gonna put you on your freaking heels.
Yeah, we're gonna put you on your heels.
Woo! All right. If you're still here, that's the Western Wind-Up. The Western Wind-Up.